All right. Well, welcome, Erin Pierzynski. I'd like to start off today by you introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about you and your life as a student here at DePaul.
Yeah, so my name is Erin Pierzynski. I graduated in 2019 with my undergrad from DePaul in health sciences and a minor in American Sign Language. And I'm currently a second year student in the MMP program here at DePaul studying nursing.
Oh, okay. Can you speak a little bit about the MEMP program? I actually don't know.
Yeah, so the MMP program's a really cool program. It's a program for students who are interested in going into nursing who don't have an undergraduate degree in nursing. So this is really good for students who may be an undergrad or undecided. Their school didn't have a nursing program, which was my case with DePaul. DePaul doesn't have an undergrad in nursing, but they do have the master's program set up. Or it could be for people who kind of want like a career change or something like that. So you don't have to have a science undergraduate degree to be in the MEMP program. We have a film student, English majors, theater majors, graphic design majors who are all in the MEMP program who decided to make the switch and go into nursing. So it's kind of cool. Your undergraduate can be in whatever you want, and as long as you've taken the prerequisite classes for the program, you can apply and be accepted. For me, health sciences was kind of nice because it helped me transition into the MEMP program because I wanted to do nursing about my freshman year of college. I decided on it. But like I said, DePaul did not have that undergraduate program. So this was the next step for me to start my nursing journey.
That's incredible. I mean, not everyone comes in knowing that, they want to be a STEM major, especially at, college where they have like hundreds of majors, like so many options. That's pretty interesting that you knew right away, you kind of had that feeling. Or did it come naturally, or was it something that you had to look for like intentionally?
Yeah, so I always liked like the STEM majors, and I knew I wanted to go into the healthcare setting, but I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do when I started college. I actually started out as a psychology major and scrapped that pretty quickly out of the gates. And actually, my dad is what kind of inspired me to go into nursing school. He has had countless surgeries. He's a retired firefighter who was injured on the job, and
Hmm.
I had been with him and seen him in the hospital several times, several surgeries and recoveries, and that kind of opened my eyes to nursing and just how caring nurses can be and be there for people in their time of need. And that's kind of what drew me into the profession.
That's so good, because sometimes we really don't take the time to consider who are the people who are, you know, the most important, helping keep us alive and healthy. And, you know, um, nurses are definitely one of those fields that really goes underappreciated, I feel like. And I know you mentioned that you also minored in ASL in undergrad. Yeah, so can you speak a little bit about that? Maybe, I guess how far, you went into ASL. Do you find it useful? Have you been able to use it in your time working in the hospital?
Yeah, so totally. I started my freshman year in my undergrad taking sign language. I was in the honors program, so they require that you take 2 years of a language, and that was the language that I chose. And I fell in love with it, taking it for that. I ended up studying it all 4 years of my undergrad,
Ooh.
and so that's how I became my minor. And I just was just really drawn to it. Just meeting sign language users like in the deaf community, it was just really inspiring because if you meet deaf people and you tell them that you're learning sign language, they get so excited that you're actually learning it and taking the time, because so many hearing people don't take the time to learn sign language and use their language how they want. And so it was just really eye-opening, especially in the medical field. There are not a lot of people who are sign language users, and when I tell them that I'm going into the medical field, they get so excited to say, hey, there's someone out there who, she's not perfect at sign language, but she knows enough to actually care about us and kind of know the preferences. And it was pretty cool. About 2 weeks ago, I was just finished up my OB rotation for nursing school right now, and one of the moms that came in was deaf, and so I was actually able to sign with her a little bit while she was getting situated, and it was pretty cool actually being able to use it, because I feel like a lot of people, they know Spanish, Chinese, but not as many people know sign language. And so being able to utilize that skill for people that need it is really helpful, because I was the only person on the floor that day who knew sign language. So I was able to communicate with her until a certified interpreter was able to come and assist her. So that was pretty cool.
Wow, that must have been really interesting. Must have been a really good experience for you.
Yeah,
I
it made
mean,
me feel really good.
yeah, it's not every day, everyone, gets up like 1,000 minors, especially at DePaul. It's very common that you maybe have like, at least like 2 minors. Uh, and a lot of people, they really don't end up using it or incorporating it in their daily lives. And, especially the language like that, like you probably have to, try really hard to, find reasons to use it. It's not every day, you know, um, that, like you said, that you need it, but when you do need it, it definitely helps out that at least enough to communicate. And I think in language learning, that's probably one of the most important things, right? Is as long as you get your message across.
Oh yeah, yeah, and just give a little like help to someone when they do need it, help transition, because and especially with COVID, I know a lot of deaf individuals that if they do rely on reading lips, most don't rely on reading lips, but if they do, it's blocked by the mask and they can't see it. So utilizing signed language is even more important now.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And you just mentioned that and during COVID. Um, I mean, maybe you've been working here at DePaul and the hospitals for a while now, right? So what has been your sort of experience, pre-COVID, classes and work and just student life versus, COVID time?
Yeah, so COVID has really taken its toll on every single major, and I think it really has hit the nursing community really hard. Obviously, we're watching all these frontline workers struggling and trying to get people to care about this pandemic, and it's really hard being a student who it's going to be me next year, fighting and kind of being on the front lines and helping people. It's just kind of disheartening that I can't quite help out, but I'm just trying to learn everything I can. And it's really hard because hospitals are being very accommodating for us. We took a pretty lengthy break. We were not in the hospitals between March and August. So those 2 quarters, spring and summer quarter, were all online. We were doing all virtual learning. And as a nursing student, it's really frustrating because I feel like people go into the nursing profession to have hands-on experience and actually like physically help people with your hands, and not being able to do that is very difficult. Just sitting at a computer, we actually had these things called vSIMs, and it was kind of like a video game on your computer where you worked through different patient situations, and that's how we were learning. And it's not the same thing as going into the hospital and interacting with patients, talking to them face to face, getting those assessment skills and kind of those hands-on skills, which is very vital for nursing students because our whole career is a hands-on career. I mean, nurses are not the people that are staying home right now. Those are the people that have to go to work. They have to be there for their patients. So it was just kind of frustrating because I'm not a person who likes to virtual learn. I had actually never taken an online class until COVID hit. All my classes, even in my undergrad, had all been in person because being a STEM major, just it's all hands-on between biolab, chem lab. Those are all hands-on classes that you are dissecting things and looking at things under microscopes. And now with COVID, we're not doing that. We're having to really change up the technology and change how we learn. And it's hard, to be honest. It's really hard. I definitely really struggled in the beginning because I was just not grasping things. And as we transitioned back into the hospital this quarter, we were able to start our rotations back this quarter because hospitals were happy to have us back, obviously with lots of precautions, wearing masks, staying 6 feet apart, not interacting with COVID patients so that we don't put ourselves at risk and spread. But with that, it's been nice getting back. I definitely, the first two weeks back, I was like, oh, I do not know what I am doing. Like I had just felt so out of practice because because the last time I had been in a hospital was at the beginning of March, end of February. So just taking the time out, just touching like equipment and stuff like that, I was like, I don't know how to work things, and having to kind of figure it back out. It was kind of like riding a bike. Once I got back in the swing of it, I was able to get back on, but it was just definitely a very, very weird feeling. And I'm trying to stay optimistic that next quarter we'll be back in the hospital. We don't have any set yes or no's, because I think that's the other thing, is just everything is so up in the air. We do not have any answers of what's happening. So there's no guarantees next quarter that we'll be in person, especially with the holidays coming through and the cold weather hitting. There's going to be a real spike of cases, and it could really hinder our ability to be in person. We might be stuck with our virtual patients again. So just kind of changing how we learn, how we adapt. It's definitely hard on hands-on people, but we're powering through.
Yeah, thank you for sharing about your experience. I mean, I know it's definitely hit a lot of people and affected obviously the whole world, right? And everyone's on edge. I mean, I'm glad that that hasn't stopped you from pushing forward and making sure that you're finishing those classes and doing the best that you can to help out. And, you know, I'm sure your patients really appreciate it. And well, honestly, I think everyone really is looking up to the nursing field right now for all the help that they've been bringing. And
Oh yeah. 2020 is actually the year of the nurse, is what it was declared this year. Was the year of the nurse, and they definitely have had their hands full this year. And I just can't wait for next year for me to be joining them and getting my hands dirty in a way and putting on a brave face and helping combat this.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, anyways, I know we're on a time limit here, so thank you so much for doing this interview with me. And I hope that at least one person out there is able to learn a little bit more about, um, you know, the STEM field and what you're doing here at DePaul, and you know, take note of it. So,
Oh yeah, my pleasure.
so thank you.